Good morning. Oh, sorry, I can't really see you there. So we're going to change our surface. Bring you in. Where's my mat? It's the tech side, right? You wanted to have up close and personal view of how we put together our lives. Here we are. So getting started a little bit late today. Sorry about that. Here we're going to be working with what I consider my signature yoga Pilates fusion flow. So it is a fairly continuous flow, but it's also definitely focused on the abdominals and lower back, the core musculature of our body. I also like to think that it's kind of in the broader sense of things, that strengthening is about returning to our center, the center of ourselves, and how it helps to organize our body and our alignment. But it also is this very real idea of centering and feeling more calm, feeling more cool and collected, and feeling more ourselves. So that's kind of the long and short of core work in my book. It's not just about getting strong abs. It's about leading a better life and feeling better about ourselves. So here we go. We're going to jump onto our mat. For this flow, you'll need a block. I like to also use a blanket. Sometimes it's great for seated work or kneeling work if you need to pad your knees like I do. Come onto your back. And we'll go ahead and start with a couple of deep breaths. Feeling as we inhale that the whole entire front part of our body is lifting up, but also the sides of the body are expanding outward. The back of the body is expanding out from our body into the mat. So it's sort of like an umbrella. We open three-dimensionally, and then we close the same way. If you're struggling with focus today, we're in the middle of the day, so you may have been up and around doing a lot already. If you're struggling with stress or anxiety, or kind of feeling pressure to get things done, especially in those moments, it's really possible to make a change via our body. So take that time to deepen and lengthen your exhale. Sometimes I open my mouth, pressing on the ribs. I feel my body completely empty. And then that next inhalation comes in nice and big and full and deep. This is both stimulating the vagus nerve, that exhalation that's long, that's pressing the diaphragm up. It pushes against our vagus nerve, stimulating that rest and digest phase for our nervous system. But it also is inviting our body to begin to kick into that natural breath. Right? So much of the time when we breathe, we get stressed, we kind of breathe up. I know for myself, my shoulders tend to start to hike. So just become aware of your exhalation and make it longer. And then if you were feeling like your breath was kind of choppy, or even like you were holding your breath, naturally when you breathe that long and you get empty, completely empty, your body will have to inhale to create that vacuum. And we get full once again. Grab a hold of your block. So with that exhalation, deeper, longer, we're going to work that strengthening of that deep core musculature. So this is Mula Bandha. This is the adductor squeeze via our block to get that lift from deep within. But it is also, yes, the abdominal wall kind of pulling inward and around our body like a corset, making us feel stronger, more put together, more calm. Nice deep breath. Soft and open. Exhale, squeeze the block. Feel as if you're trying to almost draw the block inward and upward into your body. And then inhale and relax. We often talk in yoga about chest and heart opening. I like to accompany core work with chest and heart opening work so that we're not all closing in order to get our belly to be stronger. So open up your heart, send your arms wide, goalposts, shoulders back, chest open, even while you're contracting. Otherwise, we're working at cross purposes. Good. Strengthening the core a little bit deeper, legs up in the air. Same thing, except now you don't really get to relax on your inhale. You don't want to see as much of that puffiness. You're holding a little bit more strength throughout. Having said that, you still want to breathe deeply. That's where having a 360 breath pattern, full breath into your sides, your back, and your front comes in. And then take a brief rest. Inner thighs are starting to shake a little bit. We're going to raise the knees up above the hips. I'm going to go back to this kind of open heart, thrown open with my arms, chest and shoulders and neck relaxed. As I move into this flow, it is slow. You'll notice I'm staying at the pace of my breathing. And I am, again, focusing on that widening inhalation, cinching exhalation, accompanied by first just the legs of the yogic bicycle. We call it single leg stretch. So don't forget to inhale. Then you have somewhere to go for your exhale. At the same time, you could speed it up. If you want to get ready for something that's a little bit quicker. Climbing when you're biking. Going up a hill. Then move right into twisting. This one, I will lift my head and shoulders. I'm supporting my neck by holding my head, allowing the shoulders and elbows to turn. Slow it down. Focus on how you inhale. Then you're ready to exhale. Speed it up, ready to perform. At a higher level in your sport, your life. 4, 3, 2, 1, and then rest. Depending on your body, a nice open kneed happy baby pose might feel appropriate. Next, we bring back in our friend the block for our double leg exercises. So now we're taking the weight of 2 legs forward. If it's too much for your lower back, if it's too much for your abdominal, your core strength, put your hands under your hips or use a blanket. And as you stretch, that's when you exhale. and zip up the core. Notice that my knees, my feet are not headed up to the ceiling, but for me, they aren't headed really low. I'm not ready for that yet. Again, you could be here, open. 2 more. Brief rest, keep the block. I like to think of that as tasting, testing the waters. So exploring where can you hold your body's stability and still have that nice strengthening feeling going on in your core, but without your back kind of taking over or your core musculature kind of expanding and pooching out. So that's where you want to go back to for our isometric hold. Head can be down or up. Breathing deeply here, as deeply as we can. I still like to support my head. 4 more deep breaths. In other words, challenge yourself with those legs. Or adjust them higher. 1 more. Come on back down, take the block away, and rest once again. Opening the knees up is a great thing for creating space. It creates space for the diaphragm to move, to have that ability to get a deeper inhalation. And then bring the knees once again together. Come all the way back up. Onto your hands and knees. Right into your cat and cow flow. Think about lengthening the core musculature. So as my sternum pulls forward, my tailbone is lifting up behind my belly button, right? So there's stretch in my belly, but I'm not drooping down. It's length. As you exhale, lift your abdominals, tilt your pelvis, using those hamstring muscles, those glutes. And shoulders and abs. Inhale, arcing, slowly. And exhale all the way through. 1 more time. Stopping in that medium position, that happy medium I would call it. This is just me. I'm trying to show you that when I lift up next, my back is not going to be drooping down. It's also not rounded. It is that nice long neutral position that I'm going to hold and maintain. As I lift my knees, bear crawl. Breathing. Again, there's breath moving into my back and my sides. Can you move your neck and head and shoulders around still, though? Squeeze the block, internally lifting it up. From here, lift the hips higher, downward facing dog. Take the block away. And take your socks away. If you still have. Relative stillness here, deep breath. Shifting to plank pose. If you don't have the block anymore, which I don't, step your feet closer together. So you can feel that zipper from the legs all the way up in through the core. Knees down this first time if you like, slow controlled descent. Wide the arms wider than a normal cobra pose. So their elbows are resting, it's like a goalpost. And I'm going to find the flow of my breath and exhale to raise it up into cobra. Inhale to come down. For many of us that feels unnatural, But as I'm exhaling, I'm thinking, I'm visualizing again that same core musculature wrapping and holding, supporting. Remember, not holding your breath, but just holding your position. Surrounded by dogs here. Really are so sweet. Chest, heart open. Good. And then come with your hands beside your rib cage, that traditional cobra position. And instead of pushing up with your belly flop down, push up but lift your belly off the mat. We come to hands and knees. Step one foot forward into your low lunge, Anjaneyasana. Starting to open up the hip musculature at the front, right? So very famously tied to the core musculature, our hip flexors. As we hinge the body forward, trying not to deepen that curve in the low back by swinging the hips forward. In other words, don't release your ass. Simply think about moving your body forward in a long line from crown of the head to the back knee. Two more. At the depth of your stretch where you feel good, zipping up through the pubic bone, engage the back of the hips, sweep the arms, lift your chest. With or without lifting the hands off the leg, you can still feel the same lift. It means your body is lifted, not necessarily your hands. Back down to the mat, downward facing dog. Our second time coming forward to plank pose. Maybe this time around, leave your knees off the mat. Still try to bring your hips through so you're in plank, then lower down. Leave the hands for traditional cobra, whatever style of breathing suits you. And then again, lift and press with the hands. Opposite leg forward for your Anjaneyasana. Stack the bones up and then bring them forward. It's like leaning, but trying not to round while you lean. Try not to twist as you lean. One more. Lift your chest up, lift your belly up, engage this back hip. Slowly, gently coming back to hands and knees and lifting to downward dog. You take a step forward, feet to hands. Having blocks there at the front of your mat is always nice. Bend in the knees, feet sit bone distance. Lift your chest, your belly up off of your thighs and stretch the head forward instead of up. So shoulder blades are back. My back is flat as I can make it. Exhale to bow and release that tension in the neck and the shoulders. Bend the knees more, roll up through the spine. Plant your feet, reach the arms up. For our sun A or our sun salutes, we're going to reach the arms up to start. I'm just going to make sure that you can actually see me in the standing position now. Really playing with my angles today. Inhale as you reach up. Exhale, bow forward and fold. Inhale, heart light, body long. Exhale, plank pose. And slowly come down. Chest lifting, bringing your shoulders back, core is strong. And then lifting your belly, but also pushing with your hands to downward dog. Taking a step or a jump or a walk forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale back. All the way up to standing. Hands to heart. 2 more of the same. Inhale. And exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Plank pose. Lowering down. Inhale, lift. And exhale back. Downward dog. You'll notice I'm still using my knees as my transition point here. If you like, you can always make those transitions a little bit tougher. Exhale, fold. By keeping your knees off the mat. We'll try one like that. Inhale, heart up. Exhale, fold. Inhale, chest lift. Exhale, plank pose and lower chaturanga. Tops of the feet, upward dog. Exhale, flip over the feet to down dog. Good, bend the knees, step or jump lightly forward, feet come to the hands. Grab your block, roll it up. For chair pose or fierce pose, which is a very good pose for the core. I think it's also very confusing. We're asked to lift our belly, and often the cue is given as tuck your tailbone. If you tuck your tailbone when you are meant to be in a squat, however, you are putting all sorts of stress on the lower back and the pelvic floor, and you are tightening the muscles that should be lengthening at the base of your squat, namely the glutes and the external rotators. So what I want you to think of is the feeling of those first couple of breaths we took, where our body was opening as we inhale, expansive, and then exhale, closing three-dimensionally, coming together. So coming together doesn't involve front and back of our body at all. It's just coming more to the center of us. So take a deep breath, standing tall. Begin by squeezing the block, lifting Mula Bandha up. So it's as if I want to lift the block up into my perineum. Lift your belly up, as if you want to lift your pubic bone up the front of your body. Then start to bend at the knees as you bend at your hips, leaning back into that chair that's behind you. Without bending your back, without overarching your back. And then take a couple deep breaths. I'm going to have one hand on my belly. So I do feel opening, expansion. And then as I exhale, drawing in 4 more deep breaths. Doesn't move my tailbone. Doesn't round my back, so it is not a cat. 1 more. Squeeze, lift, rise up. Reach your arms up. Lift your body up. Bow forward and fold. Get rid of your block. Stepping it back, come to your downward facing dog. Core planks. Lift your right leg up to 3-legged dog without flinging your hips open. So keep turned forward square, reaching and holding some stability. Core planks, bring the knee towards your belly. Inhale back up. 2 more. 1 more. We're going to set that knee down to pigeon. And if pigeon, upright pigeon is not your thing, lower onto your back, figure 4. Remember, centering can be about remembering to take the time to blow the air out. Exhale. Exhale, long, long, long. Feel your ribs knit, feel your belly pull in and up. Then you inhale. This happens naturally. Planting your hands, lifting up through your belly, stepping it back. Other leg lifts to three-legged dog when you're ready. Exhale, draw it in with your belly. Inhale, extend it back. 2 more. 1 more. Setting it down. And if you have a difference between your 2 sides, just address that difference. Move on to your back. There's no harm in being a little bit different, doing a pose slightly differently on your 2 sides of your body. Coming back, downward facing dog, and down to child's. Knees wide, belly resting between the knees, body long. Extend those arms out in front of you or circle them back around. Let your shoulders rest. Great place to feel, if you can, a longer inhale. So remember, the exhale is a big part of that. Being able to sense your back body stretching. And then press with your hands to come back up. We're going to end on your backs. Go ahead and bring one knee up to your chest. It is a simple hip flexor stretch here. I'm just lengthening the other leg down. You can enhance the stretch a bit by really pulling that knee in toward your chest and using the opposite glute, the bottom glute. Contract those glutes to get the hip to open up and lengthen. And then be careful here. What happens next is a twist. So I'm holding outer thigh with my opposite hand and bringing it across my body. Some people might like to pretzel up their legs and do the double leg cross. I like to bring just one knee. But pay attention to your own back. What level of twisting is appropriate for you is different than me, is different than the next person. And it will be different tomorrow. And bring it gently back. The other knee hugging up towards you. Elongating the front of the hip. Twist the knee any amount across your body. Coming on back to center. I'm simply going to lie here. For the lower back, user-friendly position would be constructive rest. Wide feet, knees angled into each other, leaning against each other. Traditional Shavasana is straight legs, of course, but this bent knee position allows a little bit more flexibility in the lower back. That position changes a bit and gives us a little more support. If you need more and more support, Try a teeny little bridge, kind of tailbone and sit bones dragging away from the lower back briefly. And then gently unfurl back down to the mat and let your back rest. Feeling your breath rise and fall. And just for a moment, your awareness sinking deeper within the state of your mind and heart. What's most prominent in your thoughts today? Just noticing, simply noticing. Not trying to make it go away. Bring one hand over your heart, one hand over your belly. Notice the warmth under your hands. Take a deep breath into both of these areas. And relax as you exhale. Bending your knees if they're not already bent, rolling off to one side and pressing up. Stretch your arms out and up. Once you find your seat, and bring your hands together in front of your heart. We end with the words of the metta meditation. May we be happy. May we be healthy. May we be more at peace and live with more ease in our body, mind, and heart. Namaste. The light in me bows to the light in you. The good in me bows to the good in you. Thank you so much for being here. I won't be here on Thursday, but I'll be back next week on Tuesday and Thursday at 11 for more yoga flows. Keep me posted if you are looking for anything in particular. You can always write to the UVAC Facebook page or even leaving a message for us at UVAC. And be sure to subscribe. And I'll see you next week. Bye-bye.